If you're looking to crush your workout goals in 2025, then welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we are going to give you an entire year of training that is well-paced and includes what your nutrition should look like. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind. Hello.
Hello. We're here. We're here.
And
we're here. We're here.
We are here. And if you're here and you don't realize that, for the first part of this podcast, we talk about our lives and catch up and do our girl thing. Check out the show notes below to skip over to the information. And while I have you, don't forget to like this video, this podcast, subscribe to our channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and turn on that notification bell, baby. Don't miss an episode. Don't miss it. Be ready for it. Anyway, how was your weekend? I talked to you.
I know. What was good? I learned. What did I learn? I learned stuff. So we had our craniofacial therapist come over. Have you heard of this?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for sucking or something like that?
For like sucking, eating, like it's all about your mouth structure. And so the pediatrician was like, oh, she has a tongue tie. And I was like, maybe. Because tongue ties are like a big thing right now. For good and for bad. So then the lactation consultant wasn't concerned about it because my boobs are flowing okay. It's just her that she can't keep up. So like she can't keep up with the flow. So she gets exhausted and then passes out at my boob.
And so,
I know. So then we got to wake her up and then she's cranky about that. So the craniofacial gal came over, Dominique, and she like did all these assessments and it was really interesting. And so they look at the reflexes. And so I learned like babies, like it's important that we kind of mess with their palms because their fists are so clenched sometimes. And I might be saying this wrong, Dominique. I'm sorry, because she does listen to the podcast.
Hi, Dominique.
So our fists are clenched. So what happens is when we start doing solid foods, they tend to be picky eaters because they haven't had anything touch their palms. And so
interesting.
I know. That's why I was like, what? And so it's important that like I play with her palms and like rub my hands in there and open up her fists. So now I have like to stick my finger in her mouth. So she chomps on my fingers before she eats to help open it and give her endurance. So we have homework now. I know. It's very exciting.
Little baby exercises.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes.
My team won the Big 12 championship game. Now we are number Iowa State.
Oh, okay.
We are number 4 in the college playoffs. We have a bye week. So Mark and I went through this whole thing because we're supposed to go to Disney for Christmas, the 25th and 26th. And so I sat there and we did the comparisons because it's the problem. The thing with Disney is we'll obviously just drive there because we'll have the dogs too. So if we go to Atlanta where the Peach Bowl is, we will fly there. And right now the flights are about $1,000 each. Yeah, but we have a bunch of points. So we're like, we don't really use our points anymore because we haven't been flying anywhere because of our dogs. So I think what we decided though is rather than use our points because if they win this game, then there's 2 more games. There's the semifinals and then the championship game.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so he's like, wouldn't you rather just wait to see what happens? And I'm like, I guess. So we're going to go to Disney. Disney it is.
Disney it is. It's official.
Weirdly, in Anaheim, there's not a lot of Airbnbs. Really? And we don't stay at hotels in Brooklyn because she loses her mind. Yeah.
Well, Airbnbs are kind of nice. I always like them because you have the kitchen. Because it's like when you go out to eat, I don't want to spend like $50 on eggs when I could just buy eggs for some.
Yeah. And so, we'll figure that part out. But that was our weekend.
So wait, who are they playing now at the Peach Bowl?
They won't know because they have a bye. So it's in between Texas and Clemson.
Oh boy.
I know. Heavy hitters. Well, we're better than Clemson. Our record was better than Clemson.
Oh, really?
Overall. Yeah. We're very good.
How did ASU turn their team around then? Because weren't they doing pretty bad?
Yeah, they were like 3-9 last season.
Oh, Jesus.
Heart.
Soul and dedication.
Correct. Okay. They have a running back. His name is Cam Scattaboo. He is about 5 pounds bigger than Christian McCaffrey. Legs as big as both of us. Sweet. And he, in one play, had 66 yards after first contact. He will outrun like defensive linemen, or not outrun, like push through these motherfuckers.
Oh.
I have not seen power like that in, I don't even remember. He is impressive. Impressive. Whoever his strength training coach is, good job.
It's got to be 2002. Jesus.
KAM.
Isn't that, what's wild now is when you look at like professional and college athletes and you see their birthday, you're like, oh my God, I'm fucking
I'm your
old.
mother.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, or I was getting a shirt because we went to see Kimberly Akimbo, which is a musical. Was interesting. Very interesting storyline, but it was good. It was weird. And so it's down at Gamage. So for those listening, Gamage Auditorium is at Arizona State campus. And I was like, oh, I should get a new shirt. So I went into this store and I was talking to the guy and I was like, Mark, you should get an ASU dad hat. And the guy goes, looks at us like, could they be parents? I'm like, we could be your parents.
Yeah. Like, yes, we are.
Yeah, 2002, and he's a senior, dude.
Oh my God.
I know. I graduated in high school in 2001.
Yeah, I graduated high school. You graduated high school in 2000? Oh, no. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, I graduated high school in 2009.
Yeah.
So
very, very different.
Ugh.
Anywho, so Kimberly Akimbo. So for those who don't know, my husband and I have season tickets to the Gamage Auditorium, like the Broadway musical line. And we do like a date night. Oh my God.
What happened?
Okay. So we're like, let's go down there, let's eat, and then I want to get a new shirt and a hat. So we like make this a thing. And number one, I'm the type of person, if I have something to do at 7:30 p.m., like I don't want to do it the entire day, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm like, oh, let's find a new place to eat, especially like on Mill. There's like not great choices. So we find this place called Shady Park, and it's this ramen, sushi place.
Oh.
It's like ramen, sushi, and pizza.
Yeah, they were in a big lawsuit. Do you remember that?
No.
With because they built a retirement community on Mill, which makes no fucking sense.
No.
So for people don't know, Mill Avenue is like your Fifth Avenue of Austin, or it's like a big college street. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what Tempe has been doing is building these like retirement apartments on Mill Avenue. And then, of course, the retirement people get pissed that it's loud as fuck because Shady Park does concerts and like EDM type stuff. And so the two of them were like in a huge lawsuit or like a fight or whatever. I don't know if it was necessarily a lawsuit because like the people wanted them to stop doing music. And they're like, we've been here for like, I don't even know, however long.
Yeah.
And no, like that's a part of our business.
Yeah, it's not the restaurant, it's their like sister thing, that's their venue. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's so stupid. So anyways, so we sit down, we order like a appetizer, shishitos and edamame, and then we order 3 rolls.
Okay.
And we get the shishitos and they're like whole ass, big ass shishitos, but there's no blister on them. So they're basically just like warm shishito peppers that are kind of crunchy. I'm like, I don't even like these. So I didn't eat them.
Yeah.
The edamame was fine. And then we waited 30 minutes to get 3 sushi rolls.
Oh, hell no.
With only 2 of them. So 2 dynamite rolls and then one of their specialty rolls rather than a rainbow roll, a dynamite roll, and their specialty roll. Whatever. Then I'm like, hey, can we get some small plates? She goes to the back. She goes, we don't have any plates. So I have to eat my sushi off of a napkin.
How do you not have plates?
No plates. Got the dinner or the sushi rolls wrong, and we waited 30 minutes after appetizers to get sushi.
No.
Our tab was $15. Thank God. They did it right. They made up for it, but it's just comical. She just goes, yeah, we don't have any plates. I'm like, do you have a bowl? Do you have like
a platter or something?
Like, we'll share.
Yeah.
And so then we go to this play, and the storyline is this teenage girl who has a disease that causes her to age 5 times her age. So now she's 15 turning 16, and the people who have her disease only live until roughly 16. So it's like her story in high school. She's got this like demented family. It's one of those things where you're like, Who sat there?
Wait, do you remember did you ever see the movie Jack with, Robin Williams? Please tell me you've seen it.
No.
It's old. Oh, man, but it's
Is that when
essentially
he's the doctor? I'm sorry, I keep
No.
messing with my hair because I don't like what it
It's
looks like
okay.
right now.
It's the same storyline,
Oh.
1996. So basically, he's, like, a kid who has some I can't remember because obviously it's been, like, 10, 20 years since I've seen the movie, but
Mhm.
he, like, has the same issue of where he, looks like an adult, but he's actually, like, 12, and so it's
Yeah.
Robin Williams plays him, and it's a
Mhm.
really good, story, but
Well, then, like, okay, so the parents are, like, degenerates, the dad's an alcoholic, the mom is this, like,
Mhm.
histrionic, like, everything's wrong with her type of lady. Then the aunt finds them, and the aunt's, like, a criminal, and then they try to do this, like, check cashing thing with the kids, and all the kids are kinda nerdy, so they're like, "This
Yeah,
is cool, we're breaking
yeah.
the law." The same story?
Similar hang on, I'm gonna sneeze. Dang it went away.
Oh,
So
bless you.
the progeria or whatever. So it's a real life conditions that makes rapidly aging. The average lifespan of someone with that is 13.
Huh.
So, yeah, you should watch it. It's a cute movie, but it's really sad. And like he ends up like they end up using like he makes friends with some of the kids, but then like it becomes like this conflict of like he looks like an adult, but he's not mentally an adult, but then
Mhm.
wants to like try and do adult stuff. And so
Ah,
navigating that, and then he goes to college, and then he dies, I
yeah.
think, yeah.
It ends with her going on a road trip, so
Okay.
anyway. Next one, I believe, is Mamma Mia, so I'm very
Oh.
excited about that. So, yeah. I interrupt this episode to bring you our December promo, and this is our introductory offer on the Mindset Method Movement, our revamped group coaching program. This program is unlike any other group coaching program out on the market and is going to be priced so competitively because we want everyone to take advantage of this. In our program, you will begin working from the inside out on your relationship with your body, food, and self-worth through the Mindset Method curriculum. In my Mindset of Matter app, every Monday you will receive a reflection that will help you work through why you struggle with control over food, why your food noise is so loud, why you hate the image you see in the mirror. Then from there, you get to take the information that you've learned and bring it to one of two coaching calls per week. Yes, per week. And for those who sign up now, you'll be working directly with me. So you get to process all of that stuff with yours truly. You'll also get access to our on-demand training program that includes gym, at-home, time crunch, body weight, and core workouts that change every single month and all build on each other to basically create the body of your dreams. You will get custom nutrition coaching from one of my expert coaches, depending on your specific needs, whether that's autoimmune issues, peri-post menopause, prenatal or postnatal, or general nutrition. We have someone here at the Mindset It Matter for you. And last but not least, you will have access to an amazing community of like-minded individuals who are looking to do something different in regards to changing their relationship with themselves mentally and physically. And for this introductory offer, we are offering our group coaching program for $275 a month with a 30-day cancellation notice. This is literally the same price that other coaching programs charge just for nutrition coaching. And if you sign up in December, you will be moved right into our Winter Wellness Challenge. You're going to jump right in, and we're going to do that at no additional cost. So you can start working with us today at no additional costs. So if you're ready to change your relationship with yourself through your mindset, through your movement, through your nutrition, check out the show notes below for more information. Now, back to the show. So, we thought, we've been very, very focused on your goals and visualizations and how to plan for the new year.
Uh-huh.
And so we thought we are going to literally give you the framework for your training, exercise, strength training for the entire year, including what your nutrition should look like when we've paired nutrition and exercise for those of you who are brave enough to go through what we're about to say. Because most of you be like, no, I'm not going to do that. But
Yeah, no, most people would be like, "That doesn't work for me."
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like, well,
"No,
you've
this is
never
exactly
fucking
what will
tried
work
it.
for you."
Oh, by the way, So real quick, shout out to our girl, Kristen P. She said, if you did not listen to episode 103, it's a good reminder going into goal setting season or anytime. Also, welcome back, Coach Amanda in episode 104. Yay!
Oh, yay. I
Kristen.
know. I'm back.
We love you guys. Anywho, so off of that, this is what we're going to talk about is probably something that most of you have never tried unless you're coaching with us. The idea of having a well-phased training program, we talked about it before. You've heard these key words, but we're going to explain kind of why. Like, why do hypertrophy, strength, endurance training, or power training? Why focus on adding bulking to one? What does that look like, and why is it important?
Yep.
But we want to think too, when we're making a plan, how does that look like? So the 3 types of training that we're focusing on is going to be strength, power, and hypertrophy.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking about those 3 things, those are different types of strength training. I think people hear strength. That's what they just think strength training is, but there's there's a difference between the 3.
It'd be like going back to your sushi. It'd be like, yes, there are sushi, but there are different types of sushi.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, we bring everything together here.
All together. And, why it's important to do this is because, you want to progress in your muscle strength and muscle gain and the appearance of your muscle, right? And all of these, you have 2 different types of muscle fibers. And so we want to be activating those different types of fibers with these different types of programming. Back in the day, and maybe we could talk about this. Remember how people would say, like, you need to change your workouts every day to like keep your body guessing.
To confuse.
This is really what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's changing like the course, right? Being able to change the stimulus, change the novelty, change the balance even of the workout. And being able to do that, but we're not doing it every day. We're doing it, as you'll see, over the course of the year.
Right. And there's a benefit of going through these different phases as well. So like, for example, someone could be like, well, I just want to focus on hypertrophy. I never can say that word, which is like the aesthetic look of the muscles. Like I always want that. And there's a benefit to going through strength or more of the power because that can bring what you're looking for too. So just, I want the audience to know, like just staying in one of these categories isn't beneficial either. So doing the random shit isn't beneficial. And then staying in one isn't beneficial either because each has a certain adaptation that your body will take, which is great, but also it's going to help supplement what you're looking for overall. So like, for example, some people just want to get stronger. They're not as concerned about the looks, but going and focusing through these different phases will help that strength by just giving your muscles something different to kind of adapt to. But then also having the structured program, like we're saying, is going to stop you or at least help prevent you from changing courses. So like going back to what you're familiar with or going back to the random workouts every day. So when we have a plan, it's easy to kind of offset my brain, turn it off. I don't have to think about that anymore. Similar to like coaching, right? Like that's one of the reasons why I got a nutrition coach is like, I'm thinking too much about this. I don't want to do it. Here, you tell me what to do. And so this plan is saying, here's what you should do. Now follow it and just kind of go with it blindly too, because you're going to get the different benefits as you cycle through as well.
Yeah. Well, it's like what I'm doing right now. By the way, I did not decide to go through the mini cut.
Oh, good.
I was like, after
you work that one out yourself.
Well, after our episode, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Like, I'm happy with the way I look.
Right.
I'd actually like to just be at maintenance and sharpen this up a little bit. So I, like you just said, I paid for a program that is, he's an ex-CrossFitter.
Ooh.
And he does Marcus Philly.
Marcus Philly. I don't know.
Yeah. And he does a training program. It's pretty advanced. So I was just like, you know what? Could I put this together? Yes, absolutely I can. But I don't want to. And I'm not as big of a I'm not a conditioning coach by any means, but he is. And so I wanted to do more conditioning because I have been in kind of the hypertrophy strength phase. I'm not doing a lot of power training. So I started his pump plus conditioning program. It's pretty good.
I think he's the one that always pops up on YouTube for videos.
Oh yeah.
And that's what, like it kind of like I'm like,
Functional
okay,
bodybuilding.
great, but then I'm also like, I don't want my clients to see this dude like shirtless doing the workout. Like
I do. I always put him on. I'm like, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I am cycling through this new phase of training. Now, I obviously have the knowledge and I put myself in there because I'm like, okay, we need to change this up a little bit. We're going to be at maintenance. Let's fucking really challenge my body. Right. Yeah. And so I'll send you the workouts. I put them in EverFit. Okay. Anyway, the other thing too is when we have these kind of phase types of this different phase of training and different novelties and stimulus, we also have like a plan for recovery, right? So that we can have you can have the most efficient way to build that muscle. So what we mean by that is like a strength phase recovery is going to look a lot different than a hypertrophy phase of recovery. And when we talk about nutrition with that and how we're going to pair the two, we will describe like, okay, this is why we choose, a maintenance and hypertrophy. This is why we choose a cut and power. This is why we choose bulk and strength. And so a part of that is the energy coming in versus the energy out versus the rest and the recovery that each of these phases require. Right. And then lastly, there's the way we're going to pair the nutrition is going to create the most benefit for you. Right. So helping you with your training and physique goals in the best way possible. Could you pair these things together in a different way? Yeah, you could, but we're saying this is the best way to do it based on research.
Yeah. And I don't even know, like, I would say, yes, you could, but you probably, what would be most people's automatic reaction is to be in a cut most of the year.
Right.
To focus on the weight loss or like leaning out. And so this is more of a challenge to that theory that they've been running for the last, indefinitely of let's try it this way and utilize these different phases to optimize what you're trying to do for your body long term. And again, like we could say, just give it a year, but a year is a long time for someone that feels anxious and discomfort within their body. But I would say, okay, then give it the 12 weeks or give it the 6 weeks, just give it some time and then assess and decide whether it's really working against you or working for you too.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to give you we promised you the entire year, but we're going to assume that, as we've talked about, you are using this time with added calories, right? The holidays for bulk, right? We'll talk about that. So the bulk will look like October to January. Why? Those are the holidays, right? You got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever that looks like. So when we're in a bulk, we are eating in a slight calorie surplus with more of the calories coming from a higher protein intake, right? So for our clients, we usually stay underneath, I usually stay at about like 1 gram of protein per body weight or per goal body weight. But in this case, when I'm bulking, we're going to bring that into the 1.2 to 1.6 range for protein, depending on the person, right? And we're eating in a small surplus, about 25%. Being in a bulk, like a lean bulk, is increasing your calories by 10 to 15%, which is about 250 to 300 calories a day. So like for me, my target bulk would be like 24 to 2,500 calories. What's yours? Where'd you get up to when you were in your bulk?
I got up to the 2,400 to 2,500 because we had to back off. But now I eat about 2,400.
Nice.
I know.
Well, you burn a lot of calories. So
yeah,
in this, we're talking bulk October to January, right? So for those of you listening, we could bulk between now and the end of January, right?
Which is more than enough time too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's probably a good way to start. So then next October, you're like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. Yep. I know the challenges and I can do it again.
Yep.
The type of training, however, that we want to pair this bulk with is strength. Why do you recommend strength training for
bulking
Why
season.
do you? Yeah, that's good. Bulking season.
I recommend strength training for the bulking season is because you have the additional calories, so additional energy available to one, build muscle, but two, to push the workouts in the strength phase. So like, for example, if you're in a deficit phase, your energy available is a bit less because you don't have the additional calories. But now I've got them, excuse me. So I like to think of like, you have the additional calories. Think of yourself like your body is sending those calories to the muscle you're trying to build physically. It's not actually how it happens, but it helps kind of wrap your mind around this when you are working out. And also, it gives the reason. So when you do increase calories, it is a bit uncomfortable because you are fuller plus, and you might see a softer body. But again, this is why we do it this time of year. But you also are able to say, like, I'm getting much stronger in the gym as well. And so utilizing that kind of, I don't want to say a negative, but discomfort to offset it with a comfortable thing and like a positive aspect of it.
Right. Well, you're maximizing your progressive overload in this, right? So your heavy lifts with lower reps drives progressive overload, which is essential for muscle growth and development. Plus, you have that surplus of energy, which is going to also support that. And like you said, you're just building that foundation of strength. And that develops the solid base, right? We talked about like building the shed, right? Having that solid base, which will only enhance the future hypertrophy and power phases that we'll talk about. So think of this as like your foundation of strength. You want a strong foundation. Now, when we're saying strength training, we mean low reps. Low reps, high weight. Yeah. So that's what we mean by strength. The focus is on getting stronger, not smaller or looking a certain way. It's literally seeing the numbers go up when you are lifting whatever you're lifting.
Well, and think of this as like you said, the foundation of the shed. This is the muscle that you're going to reveal. So if I don't have muscle to reveal, then I'm just going to look like, I don't know, how you did before, I guess. And so, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you're not working on building muscle and then you expect to look shapely, then your goals are not aligning, right? So this is actually how you do build muscle, but also like talking about learning how to recover. So what I noticed too is a lot of women tend to do like cardio-based exercises or cardio with weights. So like they'll do more circuity things, but then we take them into the strength phase, like you're talking about with the low reps, maybe some higher sets. Usually it's like 6 sets as opposed to 1 or 3 sets. And then you have to rest for 2 to 3 minutes, which is challenging. Right. But you actually, if you think of it, your body's using a lot of force throughout itself and it needs that longer rest. And so in order to do that, now we can say, okay, now we're challenging ourselves by looking on this longer rest. But in that rest, think of all of those calories that you're having in addition to going and building the muscle that you're working on for that particular lift.
Right. Well, and it also, you're optimizing your muscle fiber recruitment. So in this type of strength training, you're activating those fast twist. In this, you're activating your fast twitch muscle fibers, right? Which is going to give you greater potential for that growth. And now we're activating fast twitch. We have the rest and recovery, right? We have that longer rest time. So you're setting your body up for again, that foundation. And then lastly, it's also an efficient use of the energy surplus you're getting from the bulk, right? So heavy, low rep lifting leverages increased energy availability during a bulk without causing overtraining. What does that mean? We have, as you're saying, all of that energy coming in to support our recovery, to support the energy output plus some, so we can prevent, while we're going into these really, really strong lifts, prevent that overtraining from happening because we're supplying the body the energy in from the bulk. So talk about the key elements of this.
So a couple things is you're going to want the compound lifts to be your primary focus. So your squat, deadlift, presses, pull-ups, push, pull, essentially, or carries in there as well. So when we're talking about that, we're not talking about like bicep curls or tricep extensions, right? We're wanting a full body activation for this. And again, like Christina has said, heavy weight, low reps, resting 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes even 5 minutes. It depends on, like if the program that you're running says 3 minutes, but you feel like you need 4, that's totally okay. Because the longer rest is not going to take away your gains per se. It's actually going to help promote them. But one thing at this point too is because your body might change and be more soft, or it just might feel a little bit fuller. So we don't want to use like the scale or like your how you perceive yourself in the mirror as a progress. We want to really look at the strength that you're gaining in the gym as a progress. So it's important that we do track that, because it's going to be another way to evaluate whether this is working for you or we're just in a calorie surplus gaining weight.
Right.
So we just want to make sure that that's there as well. One thing that does become an issue is as we're getting stronger, grip strength tends to get more challenging. So like thinking of a deadlift, if you have to pull 200 pounds versus 100 pounds, 200 might be challenging. So this is where having guidance or advanced knowledge is beneficial. Of maybe you do a switch grip, but we don't always want to do a switch grip. Maybe we want to work on some grip strength, so we lighten the weight but go at a slower tempo. So it's not necessarily heavier, like a run rep max percentage, but that feeling of time under tension is still there. So that's something that I would forewarn women about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too is just those mindset struggles of being in a bulk and seeing you may have been leaner during the summer and this is your building phase. So your body will change. It doesn't mean that you are gaining all of this fat mass, especially if you're hitting your protein targets, you're doing the compound movements as we've talked about, you're allowing your body to rest and recover, and your food in general is mostly nutrient dense, because people will say, well, I'm bulking and eat like shit. And I'm like, yeah, you are. You're bulking fat. Yeah. Congratulations. I don't talk like that to my clients, only sometimes in my head. So, so you're going to see changes in your body, but just like Amanda said, think about this as, okay, like I know how to get rid of body fat. Like I know how to do that. I've done that my whole life. This is me building the muscle. So then when I shed that fat in the next phase, I will expose what's underneath this. This is just the interim body, if you will. And if you want to set some parameters around the bulk, so say that you do a DEXA scan, for example, you can say, okay, I will bulk. So right now I'm at 22% body fat. Say that I bulk and I get up to 24%. I wouldn't assume that would happen, but say that that's happening for whatever reason. I say, okay, 24% is when then I would cut back or make adjustments, right? Because you ended up cutting back for your bulk, correct?
Yeah, because I think we got up to like 26 and I was like, yeah, no, can't do that.
Because so it's either I can't eat all of this food, right? Yeah. Or I like to just set parameters around like how much body fat I am comfortable gaining before I go back into either just maintenance or what we'll talk about next, which is the cut.
Yay. So from the cut, so say we're at the end of January. Now we're going,
in your hand.
It's a pump because it fell. So I was just adjusting. I got a pump during our meeting.
Yes. Okay. Good. That was a good time for the meeting.
Cut. So now we're in February, right? So the other thing about the cut is most people want to go into a cut in January, right? And you got to think like when you're really trying to reveal your body, it's not going to be in March because for most places it's still a little chilly unless you live in Arizona. So we have to think duration of a cut doesn't also need to be 6 months. It needs to be broken up throughout the year and even less time in the cut than we think. So we make it to February to April. This is the time, and it doesn't have to be that whole time. It could be somewhere between these guys that we're going to focus on eating less to reveal what we've been doing. And now eating less doesn't mean cutting our calories automatically to like 15 or 1200 calories, because I see those as the generic numbers. It could even be, so like, for example, we're talking about like my maintenance is about 24. It could just say, I'm going to go to like 2250. It could mean I'm going to go to 2000, or it could mean I'm going to go to that full 500. We don't really want to go more than 500 and make it a radical shift to kind of offset what we've been doing and the discomfort that we feel. So at this time from February to April, we're going to work more on the power phase. So more explosive movement. So kind of, I like to think of them like more dynamic movements, more movements where you're not as stationary, I would say. So thinking of like, I don't even, I'm trying to think of the word, like plyometrics, but with weight in a way. You know what I mean?
In different planes of motion.
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, because the important part is too, we still want to continue strength training so we can retain the muscle that we've built. And we also don't want to go into so significant of a deficit that we lose the muscle that we've built too.
Correct.
So it's that fine line.
Well, that power movement is going to be this kind of between a moderate and heavy load, right? So we have these explosive movements with these moderate to heavy load. These also recruit those fast twitch muscle fibers. And those fibers are most prone to atrophy or getting smaller during a deficit. So this helps to stimulate those fibers so that we can as you're saying, retain as much muscle in this deficit as we can.
Yeah.
So again, guys, like there is a method to this madness. It's not just, oh, do this power. It's from a physiological or musculoskeletal point of view, like this is going to be best for limiting atrophy or loss of muscle.
I would also say this is a good opportunity for you to do something new. Like most people aren't training in like a power like training program. And what makes it nice about going to something new that you haven't done before is you don't know where your weights are or where your body's at. So you don't have anything to compare it to, because that's something like when I went into even with pregnancy, sorry, I was trying to think like, when did I do this? With pregnancy, I made sure to do some programs that I didn't know where I stood with it. So that way I didn't have to compare it to my past self or to see where I was at, because
that's nice. Yeah.
Because there is an expectation when we go in a cut, we might lose some strength. Now it shouldn't be a dramatic strength, but you might feel a little bit more energy depleted because you don't have that available energy at your, maintenance potential. So we always make sure that let's do something new. That way you're not like beating yourself up of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting weaker. And so this is a great time to try like maybe Olympic lifts and working on those skills, or kettlebells, or even like jump squats, or just kind of more kind of like maybe circuity based, but with appropriate training principles applied to it. Right.
Well, and we've got to think too, why we're, pairing the cut with the power training, right? Because there's this, we want to make sure that in a cut, we are efficient with the energy that we are not receiving, right? So we have less energy coming in, and these, as you're saying, doing those kind of more plyometric moves, they're shorter bouts of high intensity movement with longer rest, right? Compared to these like higher intensity, maybe higher volume type of movements, which we'll see in maybe like a hypertrophy type of training, where there might be a challenge with the, reduced amount of energy coming in to recover from those higher bouts, higher volume movements. Whereas here it's lower bouts of high intensity movements with higher rest, so that we are using that energy coming in as efficiently as possible.
Right.
So that is super duper important, because again, what people tend to do in a cut is go the opposite fucking direction.
Yeah.
They will do all the high intensity, high volume workout thinking, oh, more is better, more is better. It's like, no, you only have so much energy coming in. That energy is a part of the process of building that muscle and, adapting to stress on that muscle, which ultimately makes your muscles look good and you look shapely. But you're missing the mark when we try to go super high volume, super loads, and no recovery, especially in a cut.
Yeah. And that's like one of the issues that we see, and like we've both alluded to, is they cut too soon, or they cut as soon as the discomfort happens. So like say we're in January and they're like, nope, don't like this. Then they cut too soon there, or too quickly. They do it for too long. And then you also have the expectation that you're always going to make progress, because so like you're talking about, you're doing so many things, all the things, because you're trying to like elicit fat loss and burning weight and burning energy and all that, which I totally get it, because I did that too. But when we have the expectation that that's what's happening, the actual reality of it is you're just going to gas out that much quicker, instead of like, again, phasing yourself through this and timing it appropriately and walking through it. Another opportunity like for you to do this as something new is to work on like proper breathing engagement. So because we're doing new stuff, right? We're trying to move. It's that focusing on your breath work during these lifts or during these movements is going to apply again when we go back to the compound stuff too. And
Right.
so maybe taking the time of learning something new, doing something new, but also refocusing on my body and reconnecting to it. That's another opportunity where you can utilize this of I'm changing the focus from gaining strength, but to bringing myself back more internally as well.
Yeah. I think too, one thing that women don't realize is these types of power movements, right? So you're focusing on something outside of even the way we look. Power movements, especially for women over 40, are going to help with bone density, right? Being able to jump and land, and that strengthens your bones. So I just want to add that in there. It's not necessarily something, I mean, you're working on it in the process of doing power type movements.
Yep.
But I thought that, realizing that a lot of this stuff is not, there's so many benefit beyond your I look good benefits.
Right.
So
Right.
you just made me think of that randomly.
Mhm.
Other than that, I mean, I think that's a good overview of why power and cuts. Again, when you think power, still low rep, high weight, but we're focusing on more of an intensity. So your percentage to 1 rep max is lower than in your strength phase, right? We didn't touch on that actually. So just for example, your percentage of your 1 rep max in strength is 70 to 85%, whereas in power, it's like 60 to 80%. So not a very, not a huge difference. But in my brain, if I'm doing more power movements, yes, I'm going to lift heavy, but I have to base that off of correct. How can I control that bar or whatever it is I'm doing while also trying to lift heavy? And that's going to be a lot different than when I'm stationary and just focused on that movement, right? There's that weight on that bar is going to look a lot different because the control aspect of my feet being planted on the ground versus, doing a clean, right? Doing a clean and bringing those heels up. That's going to look a lot different.
Correct.
So good. Okay. Now we go into from May to October maintenance. And the beautiful thing about maintenance over the summer, now we've cut, we've revealed the muscle.
Right. Prior to summer. So that way we are ready for summer bod.
We're ready for summer bod. Do you hear what we didn't say? It's not May and now we're going into a cut and being like, oh my God, I need to lose 5% body fat in 5 weeks. No, we're not doing that. Maintenance over the summer is great because now you've revealed this body. Now we're just maintaining it. And we get more calories for the barbecues and the lake days and the cabin and whatever the shit you do. So maintenance for us is going to be May to October, and we're focusing on hypertrophy, which is the focus is on muscle growth and aesthetics, meaning how the muscle looks and pops and does its muscle thing. It's like if training phases were celebrities. Let's see here.
I was like, where is she gonna? Who is going to be these celebrities?
Who's going to be the?
Let's use Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio on his yacht, like
is
where
the bulk.
His belly is the bulk. Leonardo DiCaprio, in what's that one movie where they do the
Romeo and Juliet is the cut.
Sure. Oh yeah, because he was leaner and littler.
Oh, he's tiny.
And then maintenance, I would say, is the dreams one where they go into, and they build the structures. Come on, what is that movie? It's a really good movie. They like teleport into people's dreams and then like change their mind, and then they all come out, and then he doesn't know if he's in the dream or if he's not with his wife because his wife killed herself.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, I know Leonardo in The Great Gatsby.
No.
All right.
Okay. Anyway,
while she's looking at that, why we want to focus on hypertrophy and maintenance is preserving muscle mass. As we talked about,
Inception.
It provides, what is it called?
Inception.
Oh, never.
You haven't seen that one?
Oh my! I don't think so.
Oh.
Anyway. Okay. It preserves the muscle mass. It provides a necessary stimulus, as we talked about, to prevent muscle atrophy during this caloric intake, this increased caloric intake. It also aligns with just your aesthetic goals. So now that we've kind of leaned out, we get to kind of take what this chiseled part of you and make these muscles more defined and shapely, right? And that will align with, okay, now that I've done this cut, because after a cut, you can look kind of flat. Right. So going into this maintenance phase, hypertrophy, we're going to pump, as I said, pop those muscles. I think of hypertrophy as Beyonce or like J-Lo.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I wasn't going, dude,
that was probably
I
a
was
better
going,
metaphor.
girl. Yeah. We've got like, I'm going to have to work on the bulk because I feel like I'm going to say something and someone's going to be like, I don't look like that person. I think bulk like Venus Serena. There we go.
Oh, the tennis
No?
player. I was like, who's that?
Venus and Serena Williams. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bulk, like strong as fuck, right? And then your maintenance and hypertrophy is like J-Lo. Your cut is
I know. And I can't think of somebody that's like shreddy wetty.
I know.
What's her name? Hudson. Kate Hudson?
Kate
She's
Hudson.
pretty lean.
Yeah, she's pretty sure. Yeah. She's our Fabletics owner. Yeah, we love that. This part of the phase, though, is like super important, as you guys have heard us talk about, because it supports your metabolic health, right? So it maintains you. What was that?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It maintains or even slightly enhances your muscle mass, right? What is going on with my arm? We're a mess today. We moved our recording time to 9:30 in the morning on Monday. So
I thought it was going to be better, but I am like, I'm still trying to like figure it out. Thank God I have the Brooke here. Like,
I don't even have a baby, but I'm a mess. Anyways, so we have this, we're either maintaining it or slightly enhancing our muscle mass, which will increase our resting metabolism, which will support our energy balance long term. So that is huge. What else? Well,
and then with maintenance, like this is the beautiful part is that you can maintain the amount of training that you're doing. So meaning the important part here is with maintenance is that you're going to maintain your training volume. So this is why in the cut, we don't want to increase our training volume, or in the bulk, we could increase it a little bit, but more so you're increasing it by the weight you're using as opposed to days of the week or amount of exercises. This is the area where you find what I can truly be consistent at and then still maintain the results that I have gotten from the bulk and from the cut. Because for example, in the cut, if you increased how much you were training and now you go to maintenance, you're still going to just feel depleted. So this is where we say, okay, consistently we can do 3 days a week. This is how it looks. It doesn't need to be an hour and a half or 2 hours. It can just be 40 minutes to an hour, even 20 minutes every day. So it doesn't also, by training that volume and kind of being consistent throughout these 3 phases or 3 cycles of the bulk, cut, maintenance, is our recovery time. So with this phase 2, your recovery is going to be a bit better as well. That way you're not continually overtraining like you could in the cut. That becomes a fine line, but this is a nice way to kind of bridge everything together between those phases. And this is our favorite phase because this is where you should live most of the year anyways.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it cuts those extremes. I feel like cutting is an extreme and bulking is an extreme, and maintenance is like your Goldilocks in the middle porridge, and that's huge. So what this looks like is moderate weight and reps. So thinking like 8 to 12 reps per set, and we're at 65 to 75% of our 1 rep max. We have shorter rest intervals, anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds. You don't have to take those. But for me, when I'm in my hypertrophy phase, which I just got out of, but I would say the volume of what I'm doing now is fairly high too, because it's a lot of like for time type of stuff. I will take even longer rests if I need. I'll superset though. So it'll be like back-to-back workouts and then a 2-minute rest, and then in this, we have the time, we have the energy to work those unilateral, that accessory type of work. So the biceps, the triceps, all of the things. I just think it's a fun place to be. It's a fun place to live. And that's why we have it, be the longest period, if you will, that we want you to stay in. Now we just have it May to October. Again, that cut could have been February to March, and now we're in maintenance, April to October. So it's really what works best for you.
Or even like we talked about, if someone were to start bulking now, like that would be fine through January. So the maintenance could be from let's say April to December, whatever date this airs, right? Like you don't have to always jump. And like these are just general guidelines. And again, we don't want you in those phases for that long either, except for maintenance. Maintenance can always be there. And the beautiful time about this place too is usually because we're doing the hypertrophy. So we're focusing on like the aesthetics of the muscle. This is usually where women can work on what they want to improve on as well. So for example, your butt, your hamstrings, we want nice hamstrings to support the nice butt. Usually we want shapely shoulders as well. So all of those items now are going to come into play and help build again. So you can do the next cycle of this for the following year, for the following like mini cycle that you're going to do it for.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to talk about like realistic expectations in this. Number one, we are building, but building takes time, right? The funny thing is once we build it, it doesn't, muscle memory is a real thing and it doesn't take much to like reveal it again, but it does take time to build, especially as you become a more advanced lifter. So just knowing like you're not going to be in maintenance for 5 months and put on like 10 pounds of muscle, probably not going to happen.
And if you are, something else is going on.
Yeah, you're taking something. The other thing is, it's just talking about, you know why I made that face. Yeah. Talking, you know, as we talked about with bulking, is like not going off the rails. If you're going off the rails, then you still have the mindset of all or nothing.
Right.
You have not created a foundation around your relationship with food and your body that is strong enough to support maintenance in a bulk. Because you're still in, well, I can just eat whatever I want now. You can't just eat whenever you want ever. Meaning you need, what I mean by that is you need to have a balance of nutrient dense foods and pleasurable foods, as we talk about in the sustainable eating quadrant.
Right.
So it's always that way. I have a bride right now I'm working with. We had a really tough conversation and she's like, I can't cut right now. I'm like, great, that's fine. Let's focus on building. Let's focus on just exposing that muscle. We're going to focus, her dress is strapless. We're focusing on her upper body. Yeah. And, you know, and I said, look, what I need you to focus on nutrition wise is hitting this protein goal. I need for you to do that. And like this weekend, she's like, I went out, had too many drinks. I didn't hit my protein goal. I'm like, okay, we need to come back to the drawing board. How can we increase it? So that's something we're working on in this. And so I think that's a good rundown. I think that covers the entire year, right? So then after this October maintenance or however long you want to be in that, you go right back into that bulk and then we wash, rinse, and repeat. The nice thing about this is you could literally run the same 3 programs, right? I think of like Mind Pump. They have that RGB super bundle, which is anabolic, performance aesthetic. Right, which is exactly what we have here. Yeah. You know, and do this year over year. The beautiful thing, if you do this year over year, each year is going to be easier. You're going to see more results, even though I said it's harder to get there, right? Once it's built, I think they say it takes 95% effort to build it and takes about 5% effort to maintain it.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. That's the best place to be in. I did not realize that was the place I'm in. You know,
go ahead.
Just maintained and it makes life easier.
Well, I was going to say equate it to me right now. And so like I worked out all through pregnancy and then I like did stuff. So I'm at 3 weeks postpartum now and I did stuff for the 3 weeks, but it wasn't like excessive. And then when I lifted yesterday, I was like, oh, like I'm not as bad as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
So I think even thinking of it in that kind of phase too, of life, that it takes a lot yesterday? Less. I just did Bulgarian split squats and dumbbell deadlifts.
Because you're going to do 15. Is that right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Good. Well, if you guys are interested, our Mindset of Movement app is designed to go through all of these types of training phases, from power to hypertrophy to strength. Each workout is built on the last, and it will help you go through each of these and see which ones feel really good to you. I know Amanda and I are both very similar in that we have our training phase that we enjoy, right? Yep. But then also, like I'm doing right now, I'm in a training phase that I don't enjoy, but I need to do it. So that is available to you. We'll put that link in the show notes below. If you like this information, please share it with anyone you think that would benefit from it, and or give us a 5-star rating and review. That helps the algorithms out there in the world share this to more individuals. To follow us, you can catch us on Instagram at Mindset of Matter Coaching or fitbyamanda.az. You can also check out our 3 YouTube pages. Mindset Mirror Connection is our main YouTube page, which will link both Coach Amanda and my business YouTube. I guess business YouTube page?
The coaching YouTube page.
Coaching YouTube page and her postpartum. What is the name again?
Pregnancy and postpartum with the Mindset of Matter.
Gotcha. I thought it would have some catchy name. I
have a docuseries on there, but I also have like provider interviews that we've done from the pod and bump dates from the pod.
All the things. What's the docuseries?
Docuseries is Motherhood Uncensored, Rebuilding Amanda.
Woo! Yeah. That's sexy. Don't forget, guys. Do not forget, we have our Mindset Method Movement group coaching program starting in January 2025. This is an opportunity to work with us. You get access to the Mindset of Movement app. You get access to the Mindset Method curriculum to help you recreate your relationship with your body and food. 2 group coaching calls a week, and custom nutrition coaching. I mean, what else do you need? Introductory offer at $275 a month. Ooh. Amanda and I paid $25 less than that for just nutrition coaching.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Right. Yeah.
I was like thinking like, what did I pay? And I was like, I don't even know.
Did.
I just let her charge me.
Yeah. So check out the show notes below for that information. And if all else fails and you don't give a shit about phasing your training, we want you to remember this one last thing.
What you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror.
Bye.
Toodles.